As was written, it turns out that Dune Part 2 was, in fact, a good movie. I gotta say, though, man, Dune Part 2, for me, such a huge improvement.
Infinitely better than the first one. So, real quick, let me adjust the mic. Okay, now that the audio is terrible.
God.
First thoughts on the first movie. I did not appreciate the first movie that much. I thought it was fine. Thought it was good. Didn't think it was anything offensive. Thought it was just fine. You found it worse. You fell asleep.
Fell asleep.
It's not boring on the case where the whole movie is just a slog. It is slow, but there is intrigue in like discovering the world and in like figuring out how these worlds work and like the political complexities and everything. But it's not like at surface level the most interesting thing of all time, in my opinion. Also, at the midway point, as soon as I'm not sure how far you got in the movie. When
got like halfway through.
Yeah, about halfway through. So you probably got into this. When the battle happens, after that, it's kind of more of a survival movie. But like the same thing happens over and over again. Paul Atreides is on the run, and he's on the run, and he's still on the run. I think the movie had flawless CGI, to be completely honest with you. I would say like peak CGI, in my opinion, Pirates of the Caribbean. And like the first three, not the ones that followed the first three. That's peak CGI right there. After those movies, this is pretty much up there.
It's not the technology that makes the CGI look great. I mean, the technology for the time was very good, right?
Right.
But it really is just the attention to detail. Oh, just the hard work they put into, like, specifically Davy Jones.
Oh, beautiful. Every time I see that, I feel hungry because bear with me on this one. His tentacles, it looks, gooey. It looks tasty. I don't blame you. Don't judge. You can't judge me, internet.
How about? I mean, I feel like this is something I would say. The guy who
I know of all the things.
Like, Oni-chan, daisuki desu.
Okay.
Davy Jones-sama. Your tentacles are all around me.
I'm gonna go in your room, and instead of the body pillow from before, it's just gonna be a body pillow of Davy Jones.
I would actually own one. I would totally have one.
I like that.
But
that you would.
Again, I think the problem right now that I'm having trying to discuss like Dune Part 1 is that I felt like it just dragged on. Like for me, it really is a movie that feels like it's just a 5 out of 10. It's an average film.
I don't think it's a 5 out of 10, but you know what it is? It's definitely half of a book, and the story is definitely not complete.
You know what? That's actually fair because a lot of the times when like you're trying to when you try to divide a book into multiple segments, like great example, and I know Mikey, if he were doing the podcast with us, would agree with me. Fucking The Hobbit, what an awful trilogy. What a horrendous fucking trilogy.
Michael, I'm going to put this in the podcast. Can you do your reaction one more time for me, please? Just right over there.
Why'd you say Michael?
Shut up. Just show me that reaction of yours. Just pure rage. Is this the reaction of a Hobbit fan?
God. Yeah, I think that might be what it is. Just because I feel like in part 2, for me, it seemed like more was happening.
Oh, yeah.
Was actually interesting.
The story finally kicked into gear.
Yeah.
And also, to be honest with you, the story in Dune, this is what stopped me from enjoying Dune Part 1 as much as Dune Part 2. I didn't know the story of Dune going in. I knew nothing about it.
I didn't either.
So, for me, this is such a basic hero's journey, which is fine. I'm fine with seeing that on the screen, but I've seen it, in my eyes, done better before. Like, this is a slower version of the hero's journey. And I thought I knew where it was going. When Dune Part 2 came out, that changed that. This is not the hero's journey. This is something else. This is especially near the end. I'm really curious and immediately wanted to go and learn more about the Dune story, Dune Messiah, the Dune books that came after, because I don't know where this story is going, and I was really intrigued. Let's talk about Paul in a second. I do want to talk about Frank Herbert. Frank Herbert was he was very much like anti-religion, anti-any of that. So he wanted to make a fictional character, to kind of represent his views on religion and the fact that you should not follow charismatic leaders. And he represented that through people in his life. He was very anti-religion and showed that through like Hitler can be that kind of religious figure.
Oh, absolutely.
To where like he was in his day, he was a very charismatic person, very good at talking to crowds. Obviously, when Germany was going through a struggle, he rose up to the occasion and gave the Germans an enemy to hate. And he equated Paul to that. He was that kind of figure who can be very charismatic and like give people
the
reason.
dangers of a very charismatic individual kind of abusing faith to essentially kind of be in a position of power.
Yeah. No, like it does show that the blind faith of the what do they call the Sand People? You know what the Sand People?
The Sand People.
That's what they are. The
Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
Is that racist? That can't not be
That
racist.
cannot be racist.
That can't not be racist.
That has to be racist. That must be racist.
No, but-
And it also shows through the Bene Gesserits. The Bene Gesserits, where I really love the way that Dune kind of shows like the difference between like men and women in power. Where there's the Bene Gesserits are like they're the women behind the scenes. They're controlling not through power. Well, they do have power. They have the voice. They can essentially do whatever they want with the voice. But they're doing it through manipulation. They're doing it through strategy, through planning. Even like the mother, the main Bene Gesserit, says at the end to Paul's mother, "You fool, there are no sides in this. Like it is only like the plan. There is only the plan." And so you see how like these women have planted seeds in these cultures. Even in the first movie they did this, but really in the second movie they planted seeds to kind of push other people as the Messiah. They push Paul as the Messiah, but they're also pushing other people as Messiah figures. Speaking of that.
As written.
Yeah. I love this freaking villain.
Oh, you're talking about the
The terrifying nephew of Baron. What? I'm gonna try my best. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen Fade Rafa. Fade Rafa. That's his name.
But yeah, so Fade Rafa, what a very intimidating antagonist.
Very smooth skin.
Also, do they not have eyebrows? Did he not have eyebrows?
I don't think any of them had eyebrows.
That's funny.
Straight up Voldemort.
Oh God, no, they had noses.
They had noses.
They have noses.
Yes.
Not Voldemort. Very close though.
Distant cousins at least.
Distant cousins. I love his introduction.
So
and
good.
also like it's just so psychotic. I love the respect he shows during his first fight with the I forget the Asian dude's name. It doesn't matter.
Michael.
Yeah, okay, we'll call him Michael.
That must be racist.
I can't not be racist.
I love the fact that he is somewhat of an honorable character, that he is very psychotic in every aspect of his life, but there is a sense of honor in his fights. He wants to earn his fights. When he has that little fight with the non-drugged Atreides member and he kills him, he takes off his shield in order to show the audience, like, this is going to be a fair fight, and I want this to be a fair fight. When the guys in black, the opposite KKK members, they try to interrupt the fight, he literally tells them, hey, piss off, I'm going to fight this guy normally.
By the way, sick designs.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they looked so fucking menacing.
Awesome.
I kind of wish they had used that more. You know, like if that was like the Black Guard or something like that, or just like elite special force. I don't fucking know. Does it look like, would it look goofy if they like went into combat? Maybe, but do they look fucking menacing?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, they do.
I mean, dude, if it was like slightly dimmer in the evening and you saw a group of just 12 of those things walking towards you, like, piss my pants a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Even Paul be like, nah, fuck this Messiah shit. I'm done. No, couldn't be me.
Nope. The bunch of those guys.
Like, Silgar is my favorite character. One, because like, what just an interesting character, right? Also, the actor does a fantastic job. He's
Phenomenal
also really
job.
funny. But the thing I always found is like so interesting. What is Zendaya's character's name again?
Johnny.
Johnny. But I love
that has to be racist.
But Johnny and Cigar, they both celebrate Paul's victories, but in different ways, or they see it differently.
Yes.
And like, for example, when he rides the the big ass grandfather sandworm, right? Like, obviously Johnny is super stoked for him. She's like, "That's awesome. I'm so happy that he's alive." Also,
Yeah.
While Cigar is like, "That's what's written. As written.
Lisa Nagaib.
Lisa Nagaib.
No, I'll side with you on Cigar's character.
Cigar's character. Oh God,
he rides such a fine line in between like good mentor and freaking just funny old man. And he didn't really get to shine like that in the first part. Granted, he wasn't in the first part that much, but I think that he does this fine line in between writing the humor and what he's saying, and also being like truly believing. Like, there's a scene near the end where Paul's talking to him, and he doesn't believe like in anything like the Messiah figure at all. Like, I am not the Messiah figure, and he literally tells him like, I don't care what you believe, I believe.
When with Silgar, when he's like, yes, you must duel me and you will kill me. Because, as written.
But I like the fact that he is so willing to sacrifice himself because of this cause. He believes in it that deeply.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I think you can lead the tribe better than I can. I might as well give up my life right now because I believe in you so much. And I believe that the character believes that. And he doesn't like break it like Marvel humor when he tells a joke. I believe that's within his character to tell a joke.
One thing, I feel like this was not the best casting decision with the Emperor. Christopher Walken, I like you. I can't even do his impression. But no one can do it. I could tell when he's trying not to do his typical fucking accent or whatever. Yeah. And it's really fucking distracting. But also, like, he's such a well-known guy that no matter what, every time I see him, I'm like, I feel like you shouldn't be here.
Yeah. You know what really got it for me was when the Baron was talking to him. And he kept saying, more, give me more. The only thing that was going through, like, more cowbell. That's all I freaking thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was a casting mistake. It's not like a huge thing, obviously, because he's not in the film.
He's not terrible, to be completely honest with you. Like, but he's fun. I agree that he was miscast because he's so recognizable.
I feel like he was brought on. I mean, obviously, he's great at what he does, but I feel like he was brought on because of who he is.
Sure. He definitely is somebody that I'm sure wanted to work with Denis, who's the director, especially because this is such a high-profile project, and a lot of people do get to flex their acting abilities with this. I think everyone does a phenomenal job in the acting category. But it's distracting based on who he is, because I don't think he's given enough to prove his worth in this movie. I think he's giving scenes. He's not given enough to prove why they cast Christopher Walken in this part. Like, why? Like, I agree. Why did they cast Christopher Walken? Probably because he's Christopher Walken, not because he was the best choice.
Yeah. One thing I was concerned about going into part 2 when I first watched it was, man, like, I've seen some of the stuff he's done. I don't know if I can really buy him being this, like, charismatic leader who could rally people.
Yeah.
And I was fucking surprised when I saw Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. I believe it. Okay, I can see it.
And the
as written.
Yeah, as written. And the second half of this movie, he is phenomenal. He turns on a dime. And there is a sense of, like, well, he's very not, I wouldn't say timid, but soft-spoken. And he doesn't seem like someone that would be a charismatic leader. And then you get to the turning point in the movie where he does drink the blue Kool-Aid. And he gets just, we don't see what he sees, but we know that he is more, open-minded. Some would say woke, which is stupid. But he is awoken to whatever the nonsense of this world, and he sees multiple futures at once. We don't see what he sees, but we know that he sees that stuff. And his character, visually and acting-wise, it flips.
Yeah.
And he becomes this immediate, like, war hero kind of guy, and you believe it 100%. When he's on top of that with the best shot in the entire film, he's making his way through the crowd with the sandworm behind him.
Let me just say, man, all the shots with his fucking cape thing flapping in the fucking wind, the whole time, like, man, this guy's cool.
Yeah.
That's like, I felt like a child again watching, like, a superhero, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it looks cool. What can I say? A billowing cape is the coolest thing to me.
Yeah, and also his cape, it feels a little darker when he's walking through the crowd. You see the hood. It's like I'm the bad boy. But also just, it's pretty freaking cool.
That's cringe.
It is cringe.
I'm the bad boy.
It's what I thought. Shut your mouth, Charles.
Oh, yeah. Mikey is off camera, by the way.
He's over there playing Valheim.
Lucky bastard.
While we're working, you're playing.
That's a weird way to call Destiny 2 being the best game ever. Look, guys,
that is not written.
It's
not written.
It's a good game, okay? Look, it's got its problems.
It's got problems, man. You're like in a bad relationship right now. You need to get out of it.
Welcome back from the edit.
I'm leaving this in. This is going to be the new video, Destiny Part 2. Is it cringe?
Is it cringe? As written.
The thing that Frank Herbert was trying to go for, that he tried to reinforce in Dune Messiah, is that Paul is not a good leader, and that he's going to lead them down a path of destruction. Yeah. And I'm not going to spoil what happens in Messiah, but to a degree, that tends to happen.
Right.
And I like everything in Dune Messiah, because I got spoiled of it. I got obsessed with Dune immediately when I saw Dune 2. I did a research, I did a rabbit hole, went all the way down, and I figured out what happens through Dune Messiah and the other ones. Man, Man, the other ones
Get weird. I've just heard that.
Do you want a spoiler real quick?
Not really.
Not for Doom Messiah, just for like what happens in the future, like down the line.
I mean,
I guarantee you'll never like spoilers for the audience of who cares. But Paul Atreides' future son turns out to be a giant sandworm. Turns himself into a giant sandworm.
I've heard about this actually.
Yeah.
When I heard about that, I was like, oh, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What the fuck? What?
Drugs, man. So the main reason I think that this movie is looked at as a instant classic, where the first movie was good but nothing special, and this movie is just phenomenal. Everyone loves it. It's meme worthy. Lisa Nagai, like that's meme worthy. But also, I think the reason that it's seen as an instant classic by a lot of people is the storytelling goes in a very different direction about midway through, and it no longer is a hero's journey. It's more of a cautionary tale.
I was actually just about to say that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's what Frank Herbert was trying to get at with Paul's character, and that I know that Paul knows the route that he's going on, and he's kind of embracing it.
Yeah.
But I don't even think he's fully prepared for what's about to come.
Oh yeah. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
You know, and I really do think that Paul. Yes, there was the revenge aspect of it, right? But I think he really did want to help these people in the beginning. But now it's been distorted. Is unfortunate for the character, but it's the path that he chose to walk in the end. But yeah, I have to say, like part 1 of Dune it did not get me excited for part 2, right? But part 2 though of Dune has gotten me excited for what's to come.
Hey, thanks for checking us out. If you like this and you want to see more of what we got, click on my face. Just do it. You won't be disappointed.